There once was a town called Bethlehem, and in the town lived a young scribe named Malachi. Malachi longed to be a storyteller, and he dreamed of glory. He was poor and lived only with his grandmother in a small little home. Whenever he'd finish a new batch of stories, he'd go out into the town and share his wonderful, imaginative, and unique tales. Everyone who listened was instantly smitten. They would shake his hand, commend him, even give him money. But after a little bit of time, he and his stories were forgotten. And so, the scribe trapped himself into working every day and every night, exhausting himself just to produce more stories so he could leave his mark on the world. And every day, he would go out into the town and tell his latest story. People listened, but even then, they didn't last in the minds of the villagers like he had hoped. Malachi was getting sick. He was drowning in his words, and it came to the point where he could no longer even narrate them with the joy that he used to have. One day, Malachi's grandmother sat him down, fed him, and washed his feet. She said to him, "Malachi, you work so hard. And for what?" Malachi responded, "I need to make my mark on this world. I need to tell more stories." His grandmother asked, "Why must you tell more stories?" The scribe picked up his reed pen and said, "My father and mother were forgotten once they died. I plan to be remembered. I want people to think of me when they read my stories so that I will not be forgotten." Malachi's grandmother gently tilted her head, a warm smile on her face. "Your mother and father were forgotten by the world, yes, but not by you or me, and not by God." Malachi looked to his grandmother, a puzzled look on his face. "Your parents were very passionate about God, and they took every opportunity given to them to show others how grand he was and how much they loved him. Some of the people they encountered were so touched by their passion that they went on to do the same. They may not be remembered by everyone who was inspired by them, but the seeds were planted because they had witnessed it." "Witnessed what?" Malachi asked. "God's love," replied his grandmother. "You have a gift, Malachi, one that everyone can love. People love stories, and you're good at creating and presenting them. Your stories only lack one thing." Malachi leaned in. "And what is that?" "Substance, quality. Most importantly, God's influence." Malachi thought this over. "You see, it is very human to want to be remembered. We all want that. But over time, it's inevitable that people will forget. But you know what's important? Is that they still have whatever it is you've left them with. Make sure it's something that isn't just good, but is something that is right. They may not remember you, but they will remember your scrolls, and inside those scrolls should be stories centered around God. We must give the glory up to Him, and He will send blessings down to us." Malachi smiled. "It sounds nice, grandmother, but why?" Malachi's grandmother smiled. "Think of yourself as a hero. Most people feel alone and forgotten themselves, and unless you tell them, they will never know how much they are truly loved. To be robbed of an opportunity to return love to the one who made you is quite a tragedy indeed." "But what if they won't listen to me?" Malachi asked. "Not everyone will, but you have an advantage. God has blessed you with the stories that only you can create, and though people may not always listen to you, they may see the love and passion for God in your stories." Malachi thought about his grandmother's words for a long while. He set his reed pen down, prayed, and went to sleep for the night. In the morning, he packed up, said goodbye to his grandmother, and went off to travel the world, write his God-inspired stories, and share his passion and his love